Durag Wisdom here, folks, and welcome to Earth Day Y2K 17.11.06, the day before Election Day. Very important Election Day. Every Election Day we have from here until Doomsday is going to be vital to our survival as Americans and as this country. Alright, I want to give you some information today. First, voting. This is the first voting since the creep, the dictator, the traitor, the scumbag Trump was flushed from the toilet and reigned all over us with the GOP and everything else they're trying to do to destroy us. So we must get out and vote. And unfortunately, we must only vote for Democrats because right now we only have basically a two-party Democratic Republic. Unfortunately, voting for third parties is a wasted vote, and it gives it to the other freaking candidate, and right now we can't afford this. So voting is very important tomorrow, and all over this country, we got some crazy mother effers running. We got this creep, this Nazi traitorous creep, who should be tried and put in front of a firing squad, Steve Bannon, messing with the Republican Party, which getting what it deserves for being fascist, and by the way, they're still out to kill us all, and the animal kingdom with it. Alright, so here, make sure that you get out and vote tomorrow. Vote liberal, vote Democratic. I know the Democratic Party isn't the greatest party. I know they're messed up, they don't have a vision, they don't have a guide. This is the worst time to have a weak Democratic Party. But there are a lot of young people out there who are strong enough, who are intelligent enough, who could take over this party and make it do what it's supposed to do, represent liberals. And, of course, most importantly, the entire country. Now, maybe you live in a state where there's a convention. They're going to have a constitutional convention. I live in New York State and we're having a so-called constitutional convention con job. Don't let anyone mess with your Constitution if you live in a red or a purple state. I know a lot of people say that New York is a blue state. It is not a blue state. It is a purple state. It is corrupted by, contaminated by the GOP along with traitorous Democrats who work with them. If you live in New York State, vote no on this constitutional convention. It will allow right-wing creeps and Trump into our lives here in New York State. And of course, if you don't live in a state with a constitutional convention, just always watch out for who's running your state. We need Democrats. We need liberals, we need progressives running every state. No on any constitutional convention if you live in a purple or a red state. Wilbur Ross, another in a long line of the swamp, Trump, Putin, traitor bastards, who's in the Washington Post today with some kind of connections with the you-know-who. Look at the Washington Post or the New York Times or any of these major newspapers. The USDA is now in disarray, of course, like everything else in this creep's administration. But what concerns me the most is the, go ahead, Jimmy, the treatment of animals by this USDA. Animal. I didn't know they still had animal labs, experimental stuff, and all kinds of nasty things that puppy mills. They want to get rid of another member of the GOP, not a member of the USDA, wants to get rid of the Endangered Species Act in our country. So these GOP, along with hating everybody in this country except their rich scumbag friends, they want to hurt animals. They want to hurt and torture animals too. What a bunch of scumbags, folks. What a bunch. I'd like to start yelling right now, but I'm afraid that YouTube will use one of my big mouth pictures in here. Let's look up. Now, The tax cut. That's what these GOP pieces of trash want to do. It's not tax reform, it's tax cut for their rich friends. Donald Birther Bastard Dotard Cheeto has never revealed his tax returns. He has constantly violated the emoluments clause of the Constitution, and he hasn't put his businesses into a blind trust. Please, folks, it is absolutely insane to let these GOP pieces of shit and their head, their festering, infected, cancerous head Trump to mess with our taxes. Don't let them do that. And finally, folks, I put a lot of stuff on Facebook. This is, I do all these broadcasts I put on Facebook. And I just want you to know I always ignore the ads on Facebook. Nothing is for free in this society. Facebook, you can join it for free, but it's not free because you're plagued by ads and ads and ads and ads, and I ignore all the ads. I was never affected by any kind of propaganda on Facebook. So I ignore ads on TV. I ignore ads anywhere I possibly can. It's brainwashing. All I use Facebook for is to use it as a political soapbox. I'm sure a lot of people are really not interested in hearing about my personal life, like I'm using Facebook or YouTube to make my own personal whatever it is. The fact of the matter is, this is all political soapbox. That's all I want to use this for, YouTube and Facebook. And I don't look at the ads. And I don't think anybody should look at the ads on any place unless you're really interested in buying something. All right? So you look at the ad and you look it up on Consumer Reports, whatever you have to do, as long as you're being intelligent about it. But the fact of the matter is, there's nothing for free. Anytime they say are absolutely free, don't believe it. There's always a price to pay. And there's always going to be a price to pay if we don't get our goddess damn tuchuses out tomorrow and vote against every Trump cancer we can find.